All right, so we got to go put our name on it. I have to keep repeating, apparently, what are our colors? What are our colors available to us for all of our work? Red and blue, yeah. But unfortunately, some people still think that they don't have to do it the way the teacher's asking, and so they're not getting full credit. And it is what it is. You make that choice. I'm going to be blue today. Put your name on it. Okay, so we've already done these tile pattern things before, right? We've seen some stuff kind of like this before. Okay, we are going to be using a table way down here to help us. Okay, because we're going to be developing our rule and our graph. And then we're going to be answering the questions. So before we can do that though, we need to go ahead and figure out how many tiles are in each one. What do we notice about them? Okay. We're going to get this figure 0 sketched and we're going to get the figure 4 sketched. We're going to do parts A and B, and then we're going to transfer it down to that table and stuff. Okay. So everybody look at it. Take a moment to look at it. What are we seeing the pattern is doing? Be specific about location and number of tiles. So what are we seeing happening? Be specific with how many tiles and where they're going. Okay, adding 2 to each shape. I don't think so. And like I said, more than just what they're adding in. Where is it going? How is it going? Is it a column? Is it a row? Is it left side? Is it right side? Is it top? Is it bottom? Be specific. Okay. So I see on the first figure, 1 on each diagonal, 4 in the middle, right? So what are they doing? Be specific. Where did they add stuff? How many did they add there? Did they add it as a column? Did they add it as a row? Remember, columns go up and down, rows go side to side. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not just 1. Okay. Where did they add it? Manny, you need to settle. And I need to not see your ceiling and wall, please. Makes it woozy for us. Where specifically did they add 1? Upper right, lower left, in the middle as a column, in the middle as a row, that kind of stuff. We need to be using our specific language. So where did they add 1? Lex, they did add 1 to somewhere. Where? Do you notice they added 1? Maddie was right also. They did add 4, but where? Be specific. Where did the 1 get added in? Lower left, upper right, in the middle, where? Okay, so we added 1 in the column on the left. Okay, we added 2 in the middle and 1 on each end. It's getting better. Okay, so I'll help condense this one so we can move on to the next one. Okay, so we noticed they added 1 to the lower left. They added 1 to the lower left diagonal. They add 1 to the upper right diagonal, right? Let's do 1 tile was added to the lower left diagonal. And 1 tile was added to the upper right diagonal, right? Then they added a column of 2 to the right in the middle, right? Isn't that what they did? Isn't that what they did, right? Did they do the same thing for the next one? Let's check. It was 2 here and now it's 3. Yes, 1. 2 here and now it's 3. Yes, 1. 3 and now 4. So yep, we described what it is. So now we have to do the pattern. Okay, we're gonna go get our shapes and get our square. Now, if they added 1 on the lower right and 1 on the one on the lower left and 1 on the upper right on the diagonal, plus 2 as a column in the middle, if we got rid of those from figure 1, what would be left? If we got rid of those from figure 1, what would be left? If we take off the bottom left diagonal, take off the top right diagonal, and get rid of 1 column in the middle, what's left? What's left? So you don't have to write this. I'm going to show you. We're taking off this one. We're taking off this. We're taking off this. Okay, those are going away. What's going to be left? What's going to be left? A column of 2. Yes. So we have a box. I'm going to try and do this. Whoop. And another box, right? Column of 2. Yay. Now, we need to go ahead and do figure 4. So what's figure 4 going to have? What's figure 4 going to have? I should see everybody has typed that sentence I put on part A, not staring off into space. I should see you've made the, and I actually want to go back to these and change them to blue so they show up better. So I'm going to erase the ones I did and do blue ones. 1, So then my, oops, I started him wrong. Then my figure 4 is going to have what? Let me see what people wrote. I was fixing. It's going to have how many columns in the middle? 5 columns in the middle. Yes. And then how many on each diagonal? 4. Nice. I want to try and get him in one of the boxes, but it's not being cooperative for me. Look at it. So be drawing your figure 4. Should have 5 columns in the middle. And it should have 4 on its diagonals. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm going to start mine over here because the diagonals take up space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have to do, I'm going to do a rectangle that's 5 and then put lines down it. Let's see, do I have room for 4 up here? 1, 2, ooh, just barely. 3, 4. And in a perfect world, we would have been able to, you know, draw them exactly right. But then I'm going to go ahead and take my line and I'm going to go like this with it to make these center boxes. And then down. Because I can work the line better than I can work the little box. Okay. Everybody got it? Okay, so now we're going to go figure out how many are in each figure and we're going to move down to that table. Okay, we're going to move down to the table. Okay, how many are in figure 0? How many total are in figure 0? 2. How many total figure tiles are in figure 1? How many total tiles are in figure 2? Come on, how many total files are in figure 2? 10. 3. 14. And then 4. Okay, 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, right? So we're going to go down below to the rest of the worksheet. Okay, we said 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, right? So we're going to figure out our rule now. Remember, the rule uses the chain. Right, I did a wrong object. Let's back up. I'm going to use my red. Doesn't really matter how you show they connect, just that they're connecting. Because as you can see, mine are not pretty. Okay, we're using the change in Y over the change in X. So we need those two pieces of information to figure out our growth. And then remember, we look at the first one to tell us our start. Okay. Okay, so someone tell me, how much is the change in the x's each time? How much is the change in x's each time? The change in x's each time? The x is the top level. Here's the x. Here's the y. What's going on each time for x's? What are we doing math-wise? What's going on each time with the x's, which is the top row? What's math happening with the top row? Adding one each time. So I have a +1 between that bridge. I have a +1 on that bridge. I have a +1 for this bridge, and I have a +1 for this bridge, right? Okay, now we have to look at the change in y's because it's the change in y's over the change in x's. So we need both. What's going on each time with the y's now, the bottom row? What's going on with the bottom row? Okay, it's adding 4 each time at a bridge. Okay, each of these bridges is adding 4. Adding 4. Adding 4. Each of the bridges is adding 4. So we've done these before. We've done quite a few of these actually. So this should be nothing new for those that have been doing their work. Obviously, if you've been doing your work, then you wouldn't have a comfort with them as much as the people who have. Okay. So we have the change in y's, we have the change in x's to figure out our growth. We're going to do the change of y divided by the change of x. In this case, it's not that big of a deal, right? But we have to keep reminding ourselves of that change in y over change in x because it's going to become a big deal, okay? What is the change in y? What's happening with the y's? What's changing with the y's again? Y's are increasing by 4 each time, right? And what are the x's doing each time? What are the x's doing each time? Increasing by 1. Okay, so if we do that math, we get the number 4. And that number 4 goes with the x of the equation. of the rule. Okay, we still need to figure out our start value though. So not only do we have to find out growth, we have to find out start value. Start value is something we just see. Start value is something that the table gives us at spot 0. What does it say our start value was at spot 0? What does it say our start value was at spot 0? What did the y equal to? So start value is a positive 2 or a negative 2? Positive 2 or negative 2? Positive 2. Okay. So now we can build the rule. Remember, y equals the value we found for the change, then the letter x, and then the start value. Okay. Now, we are going to graph this. We're looking at what our table shows us. Does our table show us any negative numbers? Does our table show us any negative numbers? No. So because our table doesn't show us any negative numbers, we can use just the first quadrant. Okay. Just the first quadrant, which is when I go straight down and when I go straight to the side. And I only have that one corner of the graph because I looked and on my table, make it smaller so the table will show too. Almost. On my table, I see no negative numbers. Okay. So we're labeling our stuff. We know that sideways is the X. We know up and down is the Y. We now need to figure out how much we want our tick marks to be worth. Okay, we now need to figure out what our tick marks are going to be worth. And we have to pay attention and notice, what is our biggest Y value? What is our biggest Y value? 18. And then we have to look how many lines we have available on the graph. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Crushing. They almost made it to 18, right? But they didn't. So I can't use each line as 1 if I have to make sure 18 are going to fit. So what am I going to do? If they're not worth 1s, what are we going to make them? If they're not worth 1s, then what do they have to be worth? 2s. Okay. So that means I've got 2. It always does it at the very end. I'll use my line feature. 2, 4, 6, keep going, 8. Try and keep them on the line. So if I'm all the way up here now, how many did I just put in? I went by 2s. How many are on my table? What's my scale going to be for the Y's? Count them, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way out to the top. What's it going to be? 26. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. That looks like 28 to me. Yep, 28. Because we have to count them all, right? Okay, now we look. What's our biggest X? What's our biggest X? It's okay. 4. So, and we have how many wide? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wide. So could I go every other one and still have it be worth 1? Do I have enough space? Does 10 divided by 2, is that bigger than 4? Is 10 divided by 2 bigger than 4? Yeah, so I can go every other line and say it's 1. Unlike the Y's that I have to go every line and have to say it's 2. Okay, that's the scale thing. So skip a line, there's 1. Skip a line, there's 2. Skip a line, there's 3. So what's our scale? So if we hold down the shift key when we create the lines, it doesn't make it go crooked? Thank you. But you have to keep holding the shift is what Charlie said. Thank you for that helpful hint, Charlie. Okay, so I just finished my lines. What am I going to say my scale is for my X's? My Y was 28 because I was going by every line was worth 2. But I didn't go every line, and each line is worth 1. So what is my scale? I got to count how many check marks I made. How many check marks did I make going sideways? 5. Okay. So now we're going to go put our points on the graph. So I recommend like a 4 or a 6. So when you go do your dot, it shows. Okay, when X is 0, Y is 2. Remember, each Y is worth 2. So we only go up 1 line. Oh, I want to change that to blue. Trying to make things so it shows differently. Okay, first one's worth 2. When it's 1, it's worth 6. So 2, 4, 6. Remember, each of our line is worth 2. So we're going to go up 3 of our lines. For 3, we're going up how many lines? For X of 2, Y of 10, how many lines am I going to go up? 5. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, what about the next one? 3 and 14. How many lines are we going to go up for 3 and 14? Remember, each of our up is worth 2. So how many lines am I going to go up for 14? 7. So I know this was 5, 6, 7. Okay, then how about the next one? 18 would be how many lines? 9. So this was 7, 8, 9. Okay, are we going to connect these dots? When we connect these dots? Think about when we connect. Are we going to connect these with a line? What did each of the Y's stand for? What did each of the X's stand for? And when are we allowed to connect? Should we connect these? Doesn't have anything to do with proportional or not proportional. Oh, the shift lock works with draw too. Thank you. Doesn't have to be proportional. Do we connect these lines? What do the X's and Y's stand for? When are we connecting? Is it possible to have 1.2 figures? Is it possible to have 3.6 tiles? Remember, we only connect when we have the ones that can be parts. Is it possible for there to be parts? That's how we always stop and think. So can we connect these? Should we connect these? No, because we can't have parts of. Okay, we can't have parts of. Okay, so they want us to figure out the tiles in figure 100. We're going to take our rule that we wrote. Our rule that we wrote, which was, what was that rule again? Y equals what? What was the rule again? Y equals what? For x plus 2. And to find the figure 100, what are we going to do? To find figure 100, what are we going to do? Since this was on Friday's quiz, we should know how to do this. What are we going to do? We're going to replace the x with 100. Exactly. Thank you. Y equals 4 times 100 plus 2 extra, right? So 4 times 100 equals 400 plus 2 extra. So y equals 402. Okay, y equals 402. So we're going to go back up to our questions now. Back on page 1. Okay. We went ahead and we sketched the figures. We went ahead and used the tables. Okay. Now, they want us to look at how is the pattern growing. We know how the pattern's growing. What did we just say? How was the pattern growing? By how many did each next figure have? That's what it's asking. How much was it growing from one figure to the next again? To go, oops, I don't want to be on that. I want to be on text box. Yeah. To go from one figure to the next, you add 4 tiles. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about coloring. If you feel like you want to color, you can. But what they're saying is for figure 1, you're going to use a different, well, let's go ahead. Use your highlighter. Okay. You may have to switch to the one that says box highlighter versus text light highlighter. Okay. And we're going to use a different color to stand for each stage. So figure 0 is pink for me. It could be any color you want. I'm just using, oh, purple. Figure 1 is going to be my purple. So in every figure, I'm going to highlight figure 1. Each of the figures, I'm going to highlight figure 1. There's all my figure ones highlighted. Then I'm going to use a different color for figure 2. So I'm going to use yellow actually, because I want it to stand out. So figure 2 added in. Yellow corner, yellow center, right? So we're going to highlight the figure 2 parts. Less than perfect, but it's okay. In each of the other figures. Go away. Do we got it? You understand what we're doing? We're highlighting each of the levels as we added it in. Figure 3, I'll make red. It doesn't matter what your colors are, it's fine. They can be different than mine. Just the point is we're highlighting the next layer as we add it in on each of them. Okay, and then I'm going to use orange maybe. You ever notice the more you do it, the easier it gets by the time you've done a third one or fourth one? And then we need one more color, so I've got to pick another color. Do I use a green yet? I don't think so. I'm going to pick green for figure 4. So just let you see the progression. Okay. And we finished the how is it growing, where the tiles are added. Where the tiles are added, we are got to fix a text box up here. What should be the number word 1 with a capital letter. We get to repeat this, yay, because we noticed it earlier. And then we colored it in. Describe in words what the 100 one is going to look like. So let's stop and look at that. We've drawn it down below. I mean, we've talked about it. It's going to have, we're not going to actually draw it here. We found out it was going to have 402. But let's look, let's to see if we can figure out how many are going to be on its wings, remember, on its diagonals. What do you notice about the diagonals? Figure 1 has how many on each diagonal? Figure 1 has how many on each diagonal? 1. So figure 100 will have how many on each diagonal? 100, because I noticed figure 1 has 1 and figure 2 has 2 and figure 3 has 3 and figure 4 has 4. So that must mean the diagonals are the same as the figure number. Now we have to look at the middle. Figure 1 has a 2 by 2 in the middle, right? Figure 2 has a 2 by 3. Figure 3 has a 2 by 4. Figure 4 has a 2 by 5. So it seems to me it's a 2 by figure plus 1. Yes? Because figure 1, 2 tall, 2 wide. Yeah. So it's going to be a 2 by 101. Okay. So we should say what it is. Figure 100 will have 100 on each diagonal and a middle that is 2 by 101. Okay, we answered that first part. What will it look like? How many tiles did we say it will have? It will have how many tiles? What did we say down below? How many tiles did the 101 have down below? No, when we go all the way down to the bottom, it wasn't 102, way more than 102, because 2 by 101 is over 200, and then 100 on each wing, right? All the way down at the bottom on the very last thing of that worksheet, it was 402. We'll have 402 tiles because we have to justify here too. 4 times 100 plus 2. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. So we're looking at our next pattern. First thing, take a moment. What do we notice? Be specific. Where are they adding things? Be specific. Where are they adding things? Each side, I don't think there's sides on this because sides would be flat. So what do we want to call those? So what do we want to call these? So we could say adding 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom, 1 to the left and 1 to the right. Do we want to say that? Or it's adding 1 on each end of the spokes or something like that, but not each side because sides usually are flat. So which one do we want to say? Which do we like better? So adding 1 to each end of the spokes. Okay. Oops, let's probably get to where we're supposed to type. The pattern adds 1 tile to each end of the spokes. That's what those little, or each end of the X. It's actually a plus, isn't it? It's a plus sign. Okay, so now we've got to figure out figure 4 and figure 0. So if they added 1 to each end to make figure 1, where did they start at for figure 0? They added 1 to each end to make figure 1. Where did they start at for figure 0? How many boxes? Just a single box because it's not a plus sign yet, right? That's a line, not a box. Gosh, I hate that. Box. Just a single box. Because then in figure 1, they added to make the plus, right? So what is figure 4 going to look like? And I should see everybody working this pattern too. So what are they going to say with pattern 4? This was a single box, then they added 1 to each end, then they added 1 to each end, then they added 1 to each end. So what are we going to do? I don't want to know how many total tiles. I want to know what it looks like. Looks like it starts with a box, right? We can do this color coding thing. Starts with a box. There's figure 1. So I know for sure I need to have a single box in the middle, right? So I'm going to go put my single box in the middle. Then what happens? They added 1 tile around, right? Ooh, it'd be nice if it wasn't messed up like that. Boom, can I do that? Oh, yes, put the plus sign in the middle. Okay, there's our figure 1s, right? Ooh, I'm so glad we figured this out. Look at that, it's so much nicer. Not perfect still, but still better. So I know I had to have at least 1 around it, right? Then our figure 2, added on this. We'll catch up on figure 4 in a minute once we get it drawn. And then our figure 3, added in this. So we're going to have how many on each end? 4. Okay. I wonder if I can do that here too. 1. Oh, I can. 2, 3, 4. Not perfect, but it'll do. If you're hitting right in the center of the box, it's a little better, but it's hard for me to wiggle into the center of the box. I don't like that one at all. That was horrible. There. Now we're going to go do our color coding. Okay, I need my pink. I think it was red, wasn't it? Yep, it was red. Then we went orange. But my orange disappeared. I can put the blues on and go back for the orange in a second. Might have been this guy. Nope, I know it was darker than that. Nope, still darker. That's the tricky part if you accidentally save it wrong or you undo something. Getting back your color that you want. That's a little better. Not blue. I want the orange. Not really the way you ask permission for something, is it? Okay, and then we're going to put the color on for that one. Oh, how about a purple? Okay, so what we just did is we finished B and we finished the color coding of C. We'll get to the color, we'll get to what the C and stuff means in a minute. We're going to be going ahead and going down below and getting the table and the graph and stuff done. Okay, how many figures in figure 0? How many tiles in figure 0? Okay, this should be quick. How many tiles in figure 1? Figure 2. Figure 2, how many tiles? 9. Figure 3. Keep going. Come on. Figure 4. Okay. All right. Everybody okay on that? Okay, we're good with that. We're going to take those down below. 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. Down to our table right here. Okay. Let me scoot over. Or make it a little smaller so it fits. 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, right? Everybody okay with that? We just transferred it down below, right? Okay, so we need to do the same thing we did before. What is our growth? Nope. Before I get started with that, I caught that. Smaller. Okay, so we're going to go do our connections. Lighter blue. Okay, now here's a question. Anybody notice anything between 1 and 2? Similarities between 1 and 2? Anybody see any similarities between 1 and 2? Sort of. Is it the exact same pattern or is it the same growth? Is it the same pattern or is it the same growth? Same growth. Oh, okay. So then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say +1 and I'm going to highlight it so I don't have to keep writing it. Right? And I'm going to paste it over the top of each of these little bridges because yay, it's the same growth, same growth, same growth. And each of these little bridges is a 4 +4, and then I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to put it with each of the bridges. And I get to take this work for growth. Super happy about that. And I get to highlight this work for growth and use that because the growth was the same. Right? And I get to highlight this part because it's the same. Always work smarter. Wherever you can, copy and paste. I do. Okay, now the difference is, when we go back to here, here's our difference. And what is that circled part called? What is that circled part called? Start value. Okay, so start value is what? What's our start value? Plus 1, yes. Okay, positive 1. So our equation's not going to get, our rule's not going to look hugely different. It's still y equals 4x, but instead it's a plus 1 instead of a plus 2. Okay. Again, do I have any negatives? Do I have any negatives? In my x's and y's, remember my top level here. This is my x. This is my y, right? Do I have any negatives? No. So that means almost the entire graph is going to be very similar. So I'm going to see if I can highlight. I can at least copy and paste parts of it, I think. I'm still going to be using this 28, right? Because I'll be using each dash. Charlie, do you know how to highlight the whole thing and copy the whole thing over? I know you were working on something like that. And I know this is my y value. And I know this is my x value, right? So yeah, all the lines and stuff. I don't want to have to rewrite all these lines in there. Is there a way to do that? Go to the mouse icon. 1 second. Is that the select one, this guy up here? Okay, and like select everything. Select, oh, the square. Oh, this is gonna be so much better. Look, watch. We're gonna take this and we're gonna copy it. I'm gonna paste it over here. So I'm gonna paste, allow, and then I just have to shift it. Yay. Thank you. Our hero, Charlie, who fiddles with things. Does it paste it as an image though, so I can't change things? No, it doesn't. Yay. I just clicked on. I want to get rid of my blue ones. The red one left. So I'm just making blue. Okay, so we're going to have to be changing where the dots are, but at least we don't have to redraw the lines. Thank you. So I'm going to go erase my dots because they're in the wrong spot. Doggone it. I erased too far. Okay, so we need to put in our 28 up here because mine deleted. If yours deleted, we've got to put it back. And then we got to put in our X and our 5 here. So I had to get mine. And now we're going to go put our dots. Okay. Remember, our dots are at like level 4 or level 6. I like 6. Okay. Our first one said when X is 0, Y is 1. Each one of these lines was worth how much going up and down? So let's remind ourselves. This down here is tiles. Oh, figure number. Right? And this one going here for the Y, it was tiles, number of tiles. So at 0 figure, number of tiles was 1. So 1 is going to go between because each of our up and down lines go by 2. So get about halfway in between and put your dot. Okay, figure 2. Figure 1, actually, how many did we have in figure 1? How many did we have in figure 1? How many did we have in figure 1? Look in the table. What does it say? Five. So we have to go down here. Figure 1 is 5. So 2, 4, 5 would be halfway between, right? Then figure 2 was what? Look on your table. Come on. Figure 2 is how much? I'll make it a little smaller so we can try and see both at the same time. Figure 2 is how many? 9. Remember, each line is worth 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, halfway in between makes 9. 3. What do we get? Okay. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, halfway in between, 13. Then what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, halfway in between the 17. Am I going to connect these? Am I going to connect these? Are these dots going to be connected? Are we going to draw a line to connect these dots? Come on, guys. No, why not? Why not? Why did we say not going to? Because it's not possible to have parts of. You can't have part of a tile. You can't have part of a figure. There's no possibility for parts, so we cannot connect them. We do need their coordinates though. So let's look back. We need their coordinates. I want that to go away. Okay, 0, 2. So I'm going to go and click parentheses 0, 2. If I did the right parentheses. Okay, and then I'm going to copy and paste and just be fixing for the numbers I need to change, right? This is becoming 1 and 6. This is becoming 2 and 8. Nope, 2 and 10. Caught myself. 3 and 14, right? Four and 18. And we're going to do the same thing for the other table. No, 4. Okay. We're going to go do these. Parentheses 4 with 17. Sometimes it's just easier to type it. This one I'm going to copy because I can just change it to the one. Okay. Everybody okay with that? We need to figure out figure 100. So we've got to go get our equation. Y equals 4x plus 1. So I'm replacing the x with the 100. Y equals 4 times 100, oops, 100 plus 1. How many does this one have in its hundredth? One less, 401. Because it started with one less. Okay? All right. So we're taking that 401 back up. We've done that. We've got to talk about how the pattern was growing. So I'm going to copy this style because I don't want to have to reinvent. And this is the way we want to say things, right? So we're going to go down to here. I copied it from the first worksheet to the second worksheet. And then I'm going to fix it to be what it's about this one. Okay, to go from one figure to the next, you add 4 tiles. We agreed that it was the same thing. Okay, so 1 tile is added to the, and we can copy this right? End of each spoke, the plus. Yay, it's done. It's a nice thing about copying and pasting. When you've already written it once, you can just copy it and go to the next one. Okay, and the figure 100, we're going to go grab that one as well from the first worksheet. And we just have to change one small thing, right? We're going to change our text box to a blue though. That almost looks purple. Let me fix that. Don't want purple. I want blue. There we go. So now we have to describe what's going to happen though for this one's figure 100. Okay, so let's look what's happening on each spoke. We started with a center and then we went 1 around figure 1, 2 around figure 2, 3 around figure 3, 4 around figure 4. How many is going to be on each spoke for this one? How much is going to be on each spoke, each leg of the plus sign? What are we going to have on the leg of each plus sign? How many? Look at what it's doing. Figure 1 added 1, figure 2 added 2, figure 3 added 1. How many for figure 100? How many is going to be on each leg of the plus sign? Okay. How many are going to be on each leg of the plus sign? Come on, we're almost done with this. How many is going to be on each leg of the plus sign? Yes. So 1 in the middle and 100 on each leg of the plus sign. Okay. So it's going to have each leg of the plus sign. We'll have 100 and a middle that is 1. It is 401 tiles. We figured that out down below because 400 plus 1. Right? Okay, questions about that? Any questions about that? So you are going to be completing figure tile pattern 3 and its little table down here. And this is going to be due at noon today. If you don't do your figure 3, then the best I'm going to give you is 50%. Do we understand? Okay. So you are to do pattern number 3 and the table graph worksheet before noon today. I'm typing it into the chat so that the people that are having trouble hearing me, because I kind of glitch sometimes, will be able to see the instructions. Okay. Now, if you haven't fully finished the in-class part, you won't get 50%. Okay. So I typed it out in the chat so you all know and understand. Okay, they all know and understand what's going to be happening. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay. Doop and doop.